Let me ask you something. What if the very thing you have been told will build your soil is the same thing quietly breaking it down? What if the compost you are adding, thinking it is helping, is actually the reason your plants feel slow, heavy, unproductive? Now that sounds strange at first. Because everywhere you turn, you hear the same advice. Add compost. More compost is better. Feed the soil. And yes, compost is powerful, but only when it is understood. I remember walking onto a garden that looked like it should have been thriving. Dark soil, plenty of organic matter. Compost had been added year after year. On the surface, it looked right. But the plants told a different story. Leaves were thick, but dull. Growth was slow, almost hesitant. Production was lower than it should have been. Something was not adding up. So I knelt down, grabbed a handful of that soil, and what I felt was not balance. It was heaviness, too much of one thing. And that is when it became clear, this was not a lack of nutrients. It was an overload. Healthy soil, wealthy foods, health, strength, stability. Now here is what most people do not realize. Compost is not just good, it is active. It carries nutrients, microbes, energy, and when used correctly, it brings life to the soil. But when used without understanding, it can throw everything off balance. Now let me ask you, have you ever added more compost, thinking it would fix your soil, only to see little improvement? Maybe even slower growth? Drop that in the comments. Because this is where a lot of people get stuck. They believe the solution is always more, when sometimes the real solution is less, but better. Now there are two major ways compost can begin to damage your soil, and once you see them, you will never look at it the same way again. And the first way compost can begin to damage your soil is when it is added before it is truly ready. Now this is one of the most overlooked mistakes, because compost can look finished, dark, crumbly, earthy, but still be unfinished beneath the surface. And when that goes into your soil, it does not feed your plants, it competes with them. You see, unfinished compost is still in the process of breaking down, and that process requires nitrogen. So what does it do? It pulls nitrogen out of your soil to finish its job. And now your plants, the very thing you were trying to feed, are left struggling. Leaves begin to pale, growth slows, plants look weak. Even though you fed the soil, healthy soil, wealthy foods, health, strength, stability. Now here is the part that catches people off guard. They respond by adding more compost, thinking, maybe I did not add enough. But the issue was never quantity, it was timing. Now let me give you a simple picture. Two growers. The first adds compost that is not fully broken down, heats up again in the soil, pulls nutrients away, creates instability. The second waits. They let the compost fully mature, cool, balanced, stable. When it goes into the soil, it does not take. It gives. And the difference shows up quickly. One struggles to get consistent growth. The other sees steady, reliable development. Same idea, different understanding. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever added compost and noticed a kind of stall in your plants? Like they just paused? The depths of what is happening beneath the surface. Now the second way compost can damage your soil is something even fewer people talk about. Because it comes from doing something that seems right, but taken too far, begins to work against you. And that second way compost can begin to damage your soil is by adding too much of it, too often. Now this one is subtle, because at first, everything seems to improve. The soil gets darker, it feels richer, plants respond quickly, and that is where people get comfortable. They think, this is working, I will just keep adding more. But soil does not work like that. It is not just about adding, it is about balance. Healthy soil, wealthy foods, health, strength, stability. Now here is what happens when compost is overused. Nutrients begin to build up faster than plants can use them. Salts can accumulate. Certain minerals become excessive. The natural balance of the soil begins to shift. And instead of a living, breathing system, you start creating something heavy, overloaded, out of sync. Now the signs do not always show up immediately, but over time, you begin to notice things. Plants that once grew easily, now struggle. Leaves may burn at the edges. Growth becomes inconsistent. And the most confusing part? You have been doing what you thought was right, adding more good to fix the problem. Now let me give you a picture. One grower adds compost every season. Heavy layers, no pause. The soil becomes rich, but dense, full, but unbalanced. Another grower adds compost with intention. Small amounts, well finished. Applied when needed, not automatically. Their soil stays open, active, responsive, and over time, it becomes easier to grow in. That is the difference. Now let me ask you, have you ever felt like your soil should be better by now, but something still feels off? That is often not a lack of input. It is too much of the wrong kind, or too much at the wrong time. Now here is the deeper truth most people miss. Compost is not meant to replace soil. It is meant to support it, and when you cross that line, you stop building soil and start overwhelming it. Now we are coming into the final part of this, because once you understand these two mistakes, unfinished compost and too much compost, you begin to see how to actually build something that lasts. And this is where everything begins to come into focus. Because now you can see it clearly, it was never compost itself that caused the problem. It was how it was used. Unfinished compost, too much compost, poor timing, each one slowly pushing the soil out of balance. And when soil loses balance, everything that depends on it begins to struggle. Healthy soil, wealthy foods, health, strength, stability. Now let us bring this back to something real. Two people, same garden size, same intention, same desire to grow good food. The first person hears that compost is good, so they keep adding it. Every season, heavy layers, no real pause. They do not check if it is finished. They do not observe how the soil is responding. They just keep feeding it, hoping for better results. But over time, the soil becomes heavy, water does not move as well, plants lose that strong, steady growth, and frustration begins to set in. Now the second person takes a different approach. They still use compost, but they respect it. They let it fully break down. They apply it lightly, and only when the soil actually needs it. They watch the soil. They observe how it responds, and over time, something different begins to happen. The soil stays balanced. It holds moisture, but still breathes. Plants grow with strength, not force, and the harvest becomes consistent, not just once, but season after season. Now here is the part I want you to carry with you. More is not always better. Better is better. Because when you understand what your soil needs, you stop guessing, you stop overcorrecting, and you start building something that improves over time. Now let me ask you something before we close this out. Have you been adding compost out of habit or out of understanding? Drop that in the comments. Because that one question can change everything about how your garden performs. Now I want to leave you with this. Compost is powerful, but like anything powerful, it has to be used with wisdom. Because when you use it correctly, it brings life to your soil. But when you misuse it, it can quietly take that life away. And the difference between those two outcomes is understanding. Because the soil beneath your feet is not just something to add to, it is something to work with. And when you learn to work with it, instead of overwhelming it, you will not just grow better plants, you will begin to grow real abundance. And before you walk away from this, there is one final shift that changes everything. Because once you understand that compost can help or harm, you stop asking, how much should I add? And you start asking, what does my soil actually need? Now that is a completely different way of thinking, because most people treat compost like a solution, when in reality, it is a tool. And like any tool, used the right way, it builds. Used the wrong way, totter, damages. Healthy soil, wealthy foods, health, strength, stability. Now picture those two people one last time. The first person keeps chasing results. Every time something looks off, they add more compost, trying to fix symptoms from the outside. But the soil never fully stabilizes. It swings from one condition to another. Too rich, too heavy, too unbalanced. And over time, they are always adjusting, but never improving. Now the second person slows down just enough to observe. They do not rush to add. They look first. They feel the soil. They notice how it drains, how it holds, how plants respond. And instead of reacting, they respond with intention. Sometimes they add compost. Sometimes they do not. And that is the difference. Because the goal is not to keep adding, The goal is to reach a point where the soil begins to work on its own, where life beneath the surface is active, balanced, self-sustaining. And when that happens, everything becomes easier. Plants establish faster, water is used more efficiently, harvest becomes more predictable. That is when you know you are no longer managing problems, you are building a system. Now let me ask you something. When you step into your garden, are you trying to fix something, or are you building something? Drop that in the comments. That one question will determine how your soil performs over time. Now I want to leave you with this. Compost is not the answer to everything. Understanding is. Because when you understand your soil, you stop overloading it, you stop guessing, and you start working in rhythm with it. And when you work in rhythm with living soil, it begins to give back in ways you did not expect. Stronger plants, better food, greater consistency. That is real abundance. Because the soil beneath your feet is not just waiting for more input, it is waiting for wisdom. And when wisdom meets living soil, abundance appears. Remember, wealthy foods lead to health, strength, and peace of mind. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe for more practical wisdom and simple methods to help you grow abundance right where you are. Until next time, keep growing.